Good morning, everybody. I am here for our weekly reading, and yeah, we are pulling the majors in the last few weeks, I've got to say. This is a pick a card between 1 and 5 week because we ended up with a magical extra fifth card, which I think you'll like. I certainly do. And yeah, last week's new moon in Taurus was an exceptionally intense new moon. I'm sure we could all feel it. Personally, last week felt for me pretty cataclysmic on all levels. And so this reading feels very, very appropriate in the aftermath. And I have definitely been recognizing that in our weekly readings after one of the big lunations, we often have this consolidation week. And those consolidation weeks are really important to take heed and consolidate before the next big lunation. And by that I mean new moons and full moons. So we have the weeks between, and it's important to step into that. This week, today on Monday, the sun has just moved into the sign of Gemini, and just yesterday, Mars moved into the sign of Leo. So we have also a bit of just off the back of a new moon, which is always a new beginning of some sort. And that one, as I say, had quite a lot of pressure for change. And now we have the new way of moving forward with our lives, Mars moving into a new sign, and the new way to bring our light into the world, Sun moving into Gemini. So it's a very new energy, and this is where we need to kind of consolidate what's going on. So pick your number and let's dive in. Here is the big picture. All upright except for one, all major arcana except for one. So the first one is the star, and generally I love the star. It's a card that links to Aquarius, and Pluto's currently in Aquarius. And Pluto was very, very present for this last full moon. Pluto was creating a lot of power struggle and pushing us to look at the things that are just not working in our lives. So when this card is upright, it's very much about hope and healing, and looking to the big picture, the stars aligning. Sorry, let me try and turn that card around for you quickly. She's got this looking up the light into the light, and hope, optimism, and healing. Upside down, it is telling us that there is something that's kind of, we still need to, we're struggling to let certain things go. We're feeling a little bit of a lack of hope, and a little bit like, what's the point? Nothing is, it's too hard kind of feeling, a little dejected. And remembering that we've just come off this big moon, it just feels to me like an opportunity for us to go, okay, well, let's catch our breath, let's find our bearings, let's turn that around and recognize that whatever has felt just too much or cataclysmic has actually been the exact thing that we need to give us hope and give us healing. But we need to release the self-limiting beliefs and anything that keeps us small, and we absolutely need to exercise our grief. Hands feel very strong in this whole reading. So in that first card, recognize that she's holding her hands to her heart. In the second card, there's this giving and receiving of reciprocity. In the third card, there's the allure of the devil offering you whatever it is that you want. In the next card, she is kind of touching her face, which is almost like demure, self-love, compassion kind of energy. And here there is like a strength to balance, to align. So for me, the hands in this week's reading have just really, really stood out. So if we come back to the point of hope upside down, or healing upside down, there is a level of overwhelm and grief in that. And she's kind of clutching to her heart. And she needs to be able to float up rather than feel anchored down. So what is it that we need to release in order to not be anchored down? And then there is the giving and receiving of the Six of Pentacles, which is an earth card off the back of an earth new moon, and a very heavy Taurus energy. We had so many things in Taurus at the time of the new moon. So it's like, what must I give and what must I take, and what must I let go of? I mustn't take more than I need. I mustn't give more than I have. Like, how do I balance that out? Which is again tied in at the Justice card at the end. So this is one of the ways that we need to kind of consolidate in order to turn the star around. And then, of course, the devil comes in with the promise of exactly what the star's struggling with. Like, you're right, it's too hard. Let me help you. What do you want? What will make it feel better in this moment? What will help you now? I'll give it to you. And usually the devil card is where we really have to watch out, because the devil doesn't tell us what the cost of the making it feel better right now is. So whatever our tools are that we use to numb, to deny, to not feel our feelings, to not use our voice, to not howl out in grief or scream out in rage, that is the devil's offer to us. Let me make you feel better in the moment. And goodness knows, any of us who've gone through anything big want to feel better in that moment. But that is not the long game. And another thing about Taurus energy is that Taurus is about slow and steady wins the race. Taurus is about the long game. So a lot of what that new moon has put pressure on us to is say, yeah, in this moment, it might feel cataclysmic. But the long game is you needed to receive this information. You needed to experience this pain. You needed to recognize what didn't fit. Insert your own narrative of whatever it is that came up for you over this new moon. Suffice to say that because of the overwhelm this week, there will be an allure to forget. Forget what came through. Forget what came up. Forget what needs to be let go of, because it's damn hard to go into a dark night of the soul. It's damn hard to do the shadow work. And so he's offering you an out. But ironically, he forces you to deal with the shadow work again and again and again, because until you go through that dark forest, you're not coming out the other side. And he just really keeps you in the dark forest. So he himself is not a bad chap, but he kind of tests you. He says, well, can you resist me? Can you? And remember, Taurus energy has a lot of discipline. So you can, but it's going to take discipline and work and consistent effort. Then we have the Empress card, and she is just a beautiful nurturer. So she is encouraging us to birth. In fact, she is gestating us. And that's part of what she's saying, because the process of birthing is not easy. To become a butterfly, to become a diamond, to become a pearl, those are all transformations that are very Plutonic, that come through pain and trauma and huge discomfort. And being birthed as an actual baby, being in this safe space where you suddenly can't fit and you have to come out of this teeny tiny little hole, it's not an easy journey. It's not an easy journey. And so she is nurturing and supporting, but it is still a journey that one has to take. You can't not be born. You have to come out once you have died to be reborn again in whatever it is that's come up for you in this time. So she's here for you. She's giving you the nurturing. She's giving you the mothering that you need, and she is a part of you. So you need to look to your inner mother when the Empress comes up. How can I ground myself? How can I nourish myself? What do I need right now in order to feel safe? Because the baby, the new beginning, the new seed is vulnerable. And so it needs the mother. So you are going to be the baby and the mother. And that's not about your gender. That's about just different archetypal aspects of self. And then the final card, the Justice card, for me is just a reminder that actually, even though we are feeling completely upside down, completely hopeless, this is actually bringing us into balance, into alignment, into divine justice and right relationship and whatever it is that we are being forced to release. And let me just say that if you've been doing this work for a long time, maybe it's not hit you as hard, because it depends also how it hit your chart personally and how much work you've been doing. Pluto knocks harder and harder the more you ignore. So this full new moon hit me very personally in my chart, and that I can see the impact of that. But if maybe it wasn't as personal in your chart, perhaps you found another lunation more challenging. But whether this one was extreme or the next one is extreme or the last one was extreme for you, this is pushing you into this divine justice and balance. And it doesn't always feel like it at the time. Just like becoming a beautiful moth or butterfly is not a process that any of us should undertake lightly. So be gentle with yourself, mother yourself. Be very mindful of your bad habits, your unhealthy numbing tools. Recognize that balance of giving and receiving and reciprocity, and it will all come back to you if you have that imbalance, again, coming to the Justice card. And by the end of this week, you will have turned around the star and you will be finding your hope and your healing again. Thank you for watching. Have a beautiful week, and I'm sending so much love.